Hello, welcome once again. If you look at the caption, it says that bank failures in Nigeria are engineered from the top. Bank failures in Nigeria are engineered from the top. It's a hypothesis if you think, but I'm really convinced that most of the bank failures, particularly in Nigeria, it could be worldwide, but particularly in Nigeria, are engineered from the top. That's why banking in Nigeria now is still a fledgling industry, completely fledgling. And until Nigeria has steady power supply and industries dot the entire landscape, banking will not come of age in Nigeria. It won't. For example, I don't know, maybe in Kenya or some other places, I don't know. Which other country deploys POS as a business tool? Business tool, I mean, uses POS the way Nigeria does. It's funny. It's funny. The POS that people are using for businesses are supposed to be POSs that should be in people's shops. They should be in people's shops, marketplaces, gas stations, all kinds of places, in churches. That's where they should be. Why should I go to deposit money and then I pay somebody for depositing money when I can walk into the bank or use my card, go to some place and buy something and use my card to pay? But as usual, everything about Nigeria is upside down. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about is that my little experience also, I'll share a story that will also illustrate the fact that all these senior people in bank, quote, most of them are just gaming. Most of them are just businessmen. Most of them are just a greedy bunch, okay? That's why I came up with that idea or hypothesis that most of the collapses in Nigerian banks are engineered from the top. So look at this scenario that happened while I was a branch manager. One day, I just got a mail. A credit was structured from somebody in head office and sent straight to me. I didn't know about it. I didn't go to the customer. I didn't discuss anything. I just got a credit from somebody from the top. And I opened it and read the credit had been, I won't say structured, because if you say credit is structured, it means that you have done everything necessary. Followed all the rules to make sure that that money moving out will come in. But when you say credit is packaged, it means it's been panel beaten to fit into the mold. Whether it fits or not, you fit it in, and you can be sure that such packaged credits usually go sour at the end of the day. So, and I opened the credit and I read it and I saw where it was coming from. It was not a source I could question. And incidentally, that day, my boss was coming. My regional head was coming to my branch. So when he came in, I said, "Sir, we have a credit sent to us from Lagos, from head office. All they want us to do is panel beat it further and sign and send the credit to credit risk management as if we originated it from the branch." He looked at the credit and said, "Where is it coming from?" I told him. He read the credit. He said, "Do you know this person?" "Yes, I know him. He's an industrialist. He doesn't even have a real relationship with the branch as at that time. He didn't approach the branch for credit." He said, "Okay, let's go pay him a visit." We went, paid him a visit, interviewed him, talked with him. As we were leaving, he said, "We will sign the credit." I said, "Yes, we will sign and play along." I said, "But," I explained to him, I said, "Look, our safety net is that this credit, I know it won't see the light of the day. Because by the time it goes through credit risk management and they do the mandatory credit search, this credit will die a natural death." So when I told him that, he said, "Okay, let's cooperate. We can't question this person that originated this credit. Let's sign." We signed the credit. Do you know how much? 60 million. I'm talking about 60 million credit over maybe 13 years ago. 60 million, 40 million import facility and 20 million overdraft. This person didn't approach the bank or the branch where the credit should have originated. No discussion, nothing. So we sat down, we said, okay, it's coming from the top. What do? We helped them panel beat it the way they wanted, cooperated with them, and then signed the credit and sent it to credit risk management. A few days later, they did the search, and I just opened my mail on the intranet, and then I saw the credit report, the search report rather. So I printed this one, printed the other one, put them together, read everything. I said, good, I know this credit won't fly. So I spoke with my boss. I called the customer to my office and I said, sir, according to our rules with this credit search report, if you don't make up for all these debts that have been hanging on your neck from several banks for more than 25, 30 years, credit risk management may never approve this 60 million facility being packaged for you or being structured. Well, packaged, not structured, because there's no structure there. So he left. He didn't quite say much. He left. And then the next day they called me from head office, berated me, how I was lazy, how somebody had done something for me. I just couldn't complete it, make the credit a reality. 60 million. If that credit, clearly that was a game. That's what I'm trying to say. And you don't know in how many branches that they have done that. That was a game. Just pull the money out. Give me part of my own, take your own. And that's how they create bad loans. Deliberately. That's how they create bad loans deliberately. By taking from greedy people all over the place, you know. Those of us who worked in the bank and left poor, very honest, were few, very few. Gamers all over the place. 60 million. I remember one day something happened. I went to head office and I saw the guy the PA who structured the credit and sent it down. He treated me like I was shit. I was just looking at him. And I didn't even say one word because, I mean, you can't fight somebody who will just talk to somebody else and then you're finished. These are the kind of people you have running banks in Nigeria. Many of them. All they want is what will enter into their pockets. That's all. That's all. Banking is a conservative business. It's not a business for show off. It's not a business for, you know, people who will just live above their means. But you just have people there who, since Soludo changed the game, you know, usually if you get to the level of a general manager in a Nigerian bank, executive director, managing director, as you're moving, the next thing is to start your own bank. And that was possible a few years ago until they moved it to 25 billion for you to open up a bank. That's why many of them are no longer aspiring to open up their own banks as soon as they leave. They were stealing in millions, now they're stealing billions. I'm sure I paid dearly for not approving that credit, because it wasn't quite 2 years. I got a call, just like others also got, to hey, put in your resignation letter and leave peacefully. And that's how we left. And the hawks are still there. Some of them have stolen the banks dry and they've gone out. That's the kind of thing they do. And each time they do it and create a hole in the balance sheet of banks, they will punch the calculator and say, oh, if I sack how many staff, how can I recover this money that we have stolen? And then some rank and file, as it were, will just pay for the sins of these people who create these holes from the top. And sacking people from the banking industry is now an annual event. So again, I mean, if you're a banker, some of us who entered, when we entered, we thought we were going to do like 35, 40 years, give real service, retire honorably, and then no. Tony Elumelu and Co. changed the scenario. They changed it more than 15, 20 years ago. Banking is no longer what it used to be. So if you have a job in a bank, just tell yourself you don't have a job and save as much as you can, because it's until power is restored in Nigeria and real banking takes off, it will be difficult for you to just see somebody who will do at a stretch 30 years in banking. Very difficult. Very difficult. Except back office people. So that's the kind of game that they play from the top. They engineer all these things and then they use the staff to pay for it. 1,000 staff sacked, 2,000 staff sacked, this one sacked in this bank, sacked here. They're all covering up, and they usually do it when they mid-year and it's getting towards December. And you project and know that if you don't do something drastic, you're going to report a loss. They will just destroy the destinies of some young people who are rendering real service because of the greed of a few at the top. That's it. And it's going to be like that until we have 24/7 power supply in Nigeria and we have factories all over the place and the game changes. What is happening now is not real banking. May God save the banking industry.